Tonight on NewsWatch, final healthcare showdown at the Supreme Court. Did the justices give any clues on how they might rule?
Plus, on the front lines of faith, a pastor with a vibrant ministry to Muslims pays with his life.
And foods that are clogging your heart and shrinking your brain. Find out the hidden ingredients you need to avoid. All this and more tonight on NewsWatch. The arguments are over, and now the U.S. Supreme Court must decide if the president's health care law is constitutional. Good evening. I'm Lee Webb.
And I'm Wendy Griffith. Today was the third and final day of oral arguments. The justices took up the issue of what would happen to the law if only part of it was struck down. The 26 states suing the government argued that if the individual mandate is ruled unconstitutional, then the whole law must be scrapped. We'll hear from the Texas Attorney General in a moment. But first, Paul Strand starts our coverage tonight from outside the court.
After 3 days of hearings, opponents of Obamacare seem much more relaxed, and supporters appear angry and upset that the Supreme Court might actually be about to wipe out the massive health care reform law.
The court risks grave damage if it strikes down a statute of this magnitude and importance and stretches so dramatically and drastically to do it.
Georgetown professor Randy Barnett represented one of the parties suing over Obamacare. He sees the individual mandate at the heart of the law, forcing Americans to buy health insurance, as incredibly dangerous. So he believes the court might be about to save the nation's liberty if it kills the law.
The whole point of putting government between us and our doctors really changes the American people. And as Justice Kennedy says yesterday, it would basically change the fundamental relationship of the people to the federal government. And so I think it would actually save the United States of America.
Lawyer Carrie Severino says Justice Scalia and the supposed swing vote, Justice Kennedy, pretty much declared they're ready to kill the whole law.
And they even said, look, are we going to go through 2,700 pages of this law and pick and choose what parts of things are going to come and stay and go? That's too challenging to do.
The Libertarian Cato Institute's main court watcher, Ilya Shapiro.
As Justice Scalia said, if you take out the guts of the law, not just some tangential thing, if you take out the guts of the law, the rest of it has to fall.
Senate Democrat John Kerry said he can't believe the justices would do it.
They will decide they don't want to go back to a nation where you get cancer and you get a letter from your insurance company and you're told you're no longer covered.
Now the justices will decide what is literally one of the most important cases in the court's history. And both sides know the ruling here could affect America for decades to come. Paul Strand, CBN News, reporting from the Supreme Court.
Texas Attorney General Greg Abbott joins us now from Washington. Attorney General Abbott, the scene right there in front of the Supreme Court has been filled with rallies and protesters for a few days. Have you seen anything like this? I know you're a veteran Supreme Court watcher.
Right. No, I've been at the Supreme Court countless times, and this is the most raucous crowd I've ever seen. And the reason is because the liberty of all Americans is at stake. We've seen thousands of protesters over the last 3 days, mostly people who are complaining about the overreach intrusion of the Obamacare mandate into their lives, calling for a fundamental change in government, hoping that the United States Supreme Court will put limitations on the powers that are enforced on us by Congress.
There has been some criticism of Solicitor General Donald Verrilli, who was representing the Obama administration in this case. Are you surprised at how poorly he did in defending Obamacare?
Well, I think it was a tough position to defend. I mean, think about this. This is the first time in American history since the time of George Washington that Congress tried to impose this mandate on our fellow Americans. And so it's a very tough position to defend. I wouldn't want to be in the shoes of having to defend these overreaching regulations and mandates by the United States Congress and the coercion they're putting on the states and taxpayers. And so I think that the justices have seen through the false promises of Congress. And it's a very difficult position to defend.
That said, then, Attorney General Abbott, are you willing to make a prediction?
You know, I'm a former Texas Supreme Court justice, and I'll be the first to tell you it's tough to make predictions based upon comments that come from the bench, but I do walk away feeling very confident about the arguments that we presented to the court, helping the court understand that the law passed by Congress was completely unnecessary, completely unprecedented, and has no limitations on it, and as a result, it's the kind of law that the United States Supreme Court should clearly strike down.
I know you're not on the political side of this, at least at this point, but if the law is struck down, what would you like to see Republicans, what would you like to see conservatives in Washington do to fix the health care system?
Right. A very important point here, and that is everyone needs to understand that all the 26 states that have brought this lawsuit, we firmly believe that our country can and should do a better job with regard to providing health care to our fellow Americans. We don't have any pretension that our health care system is perfect, and there have been some meaningful, substantive solutions offered up by some members of Congress. What we want to make sure is that when members of Congress pursue noble goals, such as improving access to health care, they do so within the confines of the Constitution. They don't crush the Constitution on the road to progress.
Would it be a fatal mistake for Republicans if the law is struck down to do nothing?
I think Americans do want to see a response to health care. I think Americans do want to see responsible actions coming out of the United States Congress. They just want to make sure that, one, it is done in a way that doesn't destroy our budget, destroy our ability to pay our debts, or destroy the Constitution.
Texas Attorney General Greg Abbott. Attorney General, we appreciate you being with us. I understand it's about to rain there, so we appreciate your patience and talking.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Newt Gingrich is retooling his presidential campaign again. He's laid off a third of his staff, including his campaign manager. The campaign is short on cash and has not won many delegates. Now they'll focus on low-cost social media. A Gingrich spokesman says their goal is to steal delegates from Mitt Romney to keep him from winning the nomination. And Gingrich will personally call delegates to try and do that.
JetBlue Airways suspends that pilot who had a meltdown during a flight from New York to Las Vegas. His outburst forced the plane to make an emergency landing. The pilot was taken off in handcuffs, and as it turns out, the passengers were the ones who held him down. Mark Martin reports.
We got Israel, we got Iraq.
This cell phone video shows the confusion inside a JetBlue plane as Captain Clayton Osbin left the cockpit, apparently suffering some sort of breakdown. Investigators say Osbin's co-pilot noticed the captain acting erratically. He then tricked Osbin into going into the passenger cabin, locked the cockpit, and changed the security code before calling the airport in Amarillo, Texas.
JetBlue 191 emergency, and we're going to need authorities and medical to meet us at the airplane.
Then he started saying, Iraq, Iran, we did it. Then we realized it was something wrong with him.
A group of passengers tackled the captain and restrained him until the plane made the emergency landing. David Gonzalez, a former New York City corrections officer, first noticed the wild ranting. He's being called a hero for helping subdue the out-of-control pilot.
As soon as he pointed at me, I grabbed his arm and I put him in a chokehold.
Clayton Osbin has been a pilot at JetBlue since 2000, the airline's first year of flying. A JetBlue spokesperson says a medical situation happened on board the plane but would not elaborate. The spokesperson says Osbin has been taken off active duty pending a review of the incident.
There is no official psychological screening program for U.S. pilots. The 49-year-old Osbin is recovering at a Texas hospital. He is likely to be released later this week. Mark Martin, CBN News.
Thanks, Mark. Home prices continue to free fall. In January, they hit their lowest level in nearly 10 years. Prices are down about a third from their peak back in 2006. This is the latest indication the housing market has yet to bounce back. This despite an improving economy and a somewhat stronger job market. Washington has tried several measures to help get housing going again, but many predict it will still take years before it bottoms out and turns around. 400 firefighters are battling a Colorado wildfire. It's damaged or destroyed more than 24 homes and may have killed 2 people. Mandatory evacuations forced residents from 900 homes. Heather Sells reports.
The battle against this 7-square-mile blaze is being fought from both the ground and the air. Air tankers flew nonstop yesterday, and weather permitting, they'll go out again today.
I wouldn't say that those pieces of equipment put out the fire. In fact, they don't, but they buy us some time. What we use air tankers for when they drop retardant, the red stuff that you see coming down, is to get ahead of the fire and pre-treat the fuels.
The erratic fire has forced thousands of people to flee their homes. The Red Cross has set up a shelter at a local high school, which many are using as a base to try and figure out what's happening to their property.
Just want to see how things are. Just want to see if it's okay. We're worried. We're all worried, especially knowing it's that close to our homes.
Authorities have also told people in more than 6,000 homes to be ready to leave. This year's incredibly warm weather may be to blame for helping to start the fire. Warm, dry conditions and a lack of snowfall laid the groundwork and may lead to a record-breaking year.
I anticipate that this fire season will be one of the top 10 on record.
Investigators, meanwhile, are trying to determine the cause of this blaze. One possibility, a controlled burn meant to prevent wildfires, may actually have reignited and started this one. Heather Sell, CBN News.
Coming up, a pastor in the Philippines is murdered for his faith.
If you're an individual, group, or business needing a dental plan, Avia Dental offers group plans for as little as $5 per month. Now members of your group can save up to 50% or more off a high-quality dental care. Everyone qualifies, and there's no waiting or limits on visits to the dentist. Visit aviadental.com or call 1-888-431-CARE. Avia Dental since 1994. Smile, you're with people who care.
Are you ready to start making money? Doing the things you're probably already doing online anyway? PeopleString.com is an exciting new social network where you can earn cash and prizes just by visiting your favorite social networks, connecting with friends, using our patent-pending Instaportal technology to visit your favorite websites, or playing games such as The Prize Wheel, The Better Half, and hundreds of others. It's the fun, easy way to make money online.
It's free to join and it makes you ching. PeopleString.com.
If you're an individual, group, or business needing a dental plan, Avia Dental offers group plans for as little as $5 per month. Now members of your group can save up to 50% or more off a high-quality dental care. Everyone qualifies, and there's no waiting or limits on visits to the dentist. Visit aviadental.com or call 1-888-431-CARE. Avia Dental since 1994. Smile, you're with people who care.
Are you ready to start making money? Doing the things you're probably already doing online anyway? PeopleString.com is an exciting new social network where you can earn cash and prizes just by visiting your favorite social networks, connecting with friends, using our patent-pending Instaportal technology to visit your favorite websites, or playing games such as The Prize Wheel, The Better Half, and hundreds of others. It's the fun, easy way to make money online.
It's free to join and it makes you ching. PeopleString.com.
Pope Benedict finished his trip to Cuba by demanding greater religious freedom in the communist country. Benedict said people find truth when they seek the truth that Christianity offers. He added that the church should be given more freedom to preach the gospel. Thousands of Catholics filled Havana's Revolution Plaza for his final mass in the country. They came to celebrate their faith, but are cautious about talking politics.
Basically, our faith is what makes things go for us. So no, we really don't talk about things like that beyond what's happening now.
The Pope also met with former Cuban President Fidel Castro after the celebration.
Vietnam sentences a Mennonite pastor to 11 years in prison. Nguyen Cong Chin is convicted of writing and distributing materials that slandered Vietnamese authorities. The government there says his work created division between the communist government and the people. The group Human Rights Watch, though, says the pastor's conviction is yet another demonstration of the government's disregard for religious freedom. The communist government in Vietnam sanctions state churches only. The Mennonite church is outlawed there. The Philippines is mostly a Christian nation.
Yeah, mostly Catholic, but in the south, Muslim fundamentalists are trying to build an Islamic state. Lucille Toulousan brings us the story of one pastor who made the ultimate sacrifice for spreading the gospel and the Christians who continue to worship there despite the danger.
The island of Mindanao on the southernmost part of the Philippines is predominantly Muslim. Its remotest parts a haven to terrorist groups linked to Al-Qaeda, who carry out terror attacks and kidnappings in the region. Because of the constant threat to security and the Muslims' goal to establish an independent Islamic state, Christians here face intense opposition.
Persecution against Christians is strong in this Muslim city. This year, at least 4 house churches closed down after their pastors and lay leaders were killed by Muslim extremists.
Pastor Mario Asidre was one of those killed. His wife, Mayang, is distraught over her husband's murder. She recalls awakening to the sound of the gunshots that killed Pastor Mario right inside her home.
My husband staggered into our bedroom, and I was shocked because he was full of blood. I brought him to the hospital right away. He was operated on for 8 bullet wounds, but did not survive.
Pastor Mario Asidre was a former Muslim who converted to Christianity. He boldly shared the gospel to his Muslim relatives and neighbors. Despite threats to his life, he was not afraid to hold Bible studies in his home, which he converted into a house church. Witnesses say that just a few hours before he was killed, Pastor Mario agitated some Muslim vendors when he told them he did not believe in the amulets they were trying to sell him. Pastor Edilberto Biera is the coordinator of the Christian and Missionary Alliance Churches of the Philippines in this Muslim region.
I admire Pastor Mario's commitment to the Lord. He tried to share the gospel to the Muslim vendors. This incident triggered threats to other Muslims who converted to Christianity, and that is why the house churches closed down.
But this did not stop Mayang and some believers from going to church. They now worship at the only surviving Christian church in the city.
My neighbors warned me that I should not go out, but I am not afraid because I know Isa, Jesus, is powerful and He will not forsake me. When my husband was still alive, he always told me that we should always be ready to face death for the work of the Lord.
Pastor Biera says his heart is grieved to see pastors come and go in this critical area. That's why he remains, serving faithfully for more than 30 years despite several threats to his own life. Even though church attendance has decreased by 70%, he still believes that the church will still prevail, even if the churches are driven underground.
What we only do is make these people grow in the Lord. We have our prayer and fasting, Bible studies, training. If ever we are out, we are still confident that the work of the Lord will go on. Because that is the promise of the Lord. That when He said, when I will build my church, the gates of hell will not prevail against it. It includes the ministry among the Muslims.
Lucille Talusan, CBN News, Mindanao, Philippines.
Up next, foods that speed up Alzheimer's, what they are and why you can't trust the food labels.
CBNNews.com. News you want, when you want, 24/7. Stay current with up-to-the-minute stories.
David Brody, CBN News, Capitol Hill.
I don't have to wait for my news anymore. CBNNews.com at your fingertips all day long.
I only watch the stories I want to see. I find the story, I click on it, and boom, I'm there.
I'm Chris Mitchell reporting from Jerusalem.
The source for your news, CBNNews.com.
Your dryer runs forever, and your clothes still come out damp? Now you can speed up your dryer by up to 15 minutes. Introducing the Lint Lizard. It's like a magic wand that cleans deep into any dryer. The flexible Lint Lizard attaches right to any vacuum hose. Look how much lint we got out of this dryer. All this lint that escapes past your lint screen. Yuck! A clogged dryer works harder. All that lint can even burn out your motor. Or worse, it can start a dangerous vent fire. It's a full 40 inches long and cleans deep into your vent system, grabbing all the packed-in lint that's choking your dryer. After a quick cleaning with the Lint Lizard, your dryer vent is clear, making it work less and run more efficiently. Old-fashioned lint brushes pull out some lint, and the lint gets everywhere. The Lint Lizard cleans deeper and sends the lint right into your vac bag. Vacuuming between machines and under appliances is a snap. Take it outdoors to vac your outside vent. So before you spend a fortune on costly repairs, order your Lint Lizard for just $10.99. Call right now and you can double your order. And that's not all. We'll also include the Dust Lizard. It attaches to any vac and adjusts to any position. The Dust Lizard goes where no other attachment can. Clean delicate electronics, tedious air vents, tiny tile crevices, crumbs from corners, dirt from slider tracks, places you could never vacuum before, even expensive sculptures and intricate chandeliers. Plus, the Lint Lizard comes with a money-back guarantee. If you're not completely satisfied, return them and keep the Dust Lizard. You get it all, 2 Lint Lizards and the Dust Lizard for $10.99. Call now and find out about free shipping.
Call 1-800-373-2150 and get your lint lizard. But call now and you can get a special offer on a second lint lizard and the dust lizard with your order. So call 1-800-373-2150 and find out about free shipping. That's 1-800-373-2150. Call now.
Well, it sounds like a bad Hollywood horror movie, The Food That Ate Your Brain, but it's all too real.
Scary stuff. Science is now finding that trans fats can cause serious damage to your brain and even lead to Alzheimer's. Lori Johnson explains in tonight's Focus.
We know trans fats are bad for us, but do you really stay away or scan food labels for them? What if they caused Alzheimer's disease? That led to an investigation at Oregon Health and Science University.
We're interested in things that might have a role in the prevention of Alzheimer's disease, but also looking for things that might be actually causing the disease.
Dr. Gene Bowman and his colleagues studied 104 seniors with an average age of 87. They took blood samples to learn what foods their subjects ate and tested thinking and memory. Scientists discovered those whose blood contained higher levels of trans fats had smaller brains. A person's brain size can change, and as you can see, brain shrinkage is one of the hallmarks of Alzheimer's disease. So a larger brain is healthier.
We know that in Alzheimer's disease that the brain shrinks at an accelerated pace as the disease and pathology spreads to a certain part of the brain. But if you have a larger brain and more brain tissue, you might have a reserve to handle that pathology better.
In addition to smaller brains, people who ate more trans fats also scored lower on thinking and memory tests.
Trans fats are, they're kind of all over the place.
Fried food, fast food, shortening, and margarine are full of trans fats. So are packaged foods like cookies, crackers, and chips. If you want to avoid trans fats, just read the label. If you see hydrogenated in the list of ingredients, put it back. But be careful. Sometimes front labels are stamped no trans fat when the food actually contains it. You see, food manufacturers can claim a food has no trans fat even if there's up to 0.5 gram in each serving. They meet the government standard by declaring tiny serving sizes. What often ends up happening is those serving sizes are so small, most people eat more than they think, including a lot of trans fat. So when it comes to brain health, avoid trans fats to stay out of the danger zone. But if you really want to go the extra mile, look at what else the study revealed. Scientists discovered the people with the largest brains and the top scores on thinking and memory tests ate diets high in 5 specific nutrients: vitamins B, C, D, E, and the seafood type of omega-3 fatty acids.
So it's a combination of staying away from the bad and getting the good. If you just do one, you may not get the bonus effect.
If you think you've heard this before, you're right. That's been touted as a heart-healthy diet. As it turns out, foods that help or hurt the brain have the same effect on the heart. Cardiologist Deepak Talreja tells his patients daily food choices can literally mean the difference between life and death.
Trans fats are probably one of the most dangerous things we can consume that you see in everyday foods available to us that have no restrictions on them.
Artery-clogging trans fats double your risk of a heart attack and contribute to strokes, vascular disease, even diabetes. On the other hand, vitamin-rich fruits, vegetables, and omega-3s reduce the risk of heart disease. Dr. Talreja recommends taking daily fish oil supplements, enough so that the EPA and the DHA fats in them equal 1 to 2 grams.
There are many simple things we could do that would improve health across the nation, would help the economics of healthcare and everything else so much. If patients didn't get sick in the first place, it would cost a lot less to take care of them, and we'd all have better quality of life. This is a topic that really doesn't get enough attention at all.
So whether you're targeting your heart or your brain, the prescription is the same. say no to trans fats, and load up on vitamins and fish oils. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
CBNNews.com. News you want, when you want, 24/7. Stay current with up-to-the-minute stories.
David Brody, CBN News, Capitol Hill.
I don't have to wait for my news anymore.
CBNNews.com at your fingertips all day long.
I only watch the stories I want to see. I find the story, I click on it, and boom, I'm there.
I'm Chris Mitchell reporting from Jerusalem.
The source for your news, CBNNews.com.
Your dryer runs forever, and your clothes still come out damp? Now you can speed up your dryer by up to 15 minutes. Introducing the Lint Lizard. It's like a magic wand that cleans deep into any dryer. The flexible Lint Lizard attaches right to any vacuum hose. Look how much lint we got out of this dryer. All this lint that escapes past your lint screen. Yuck! A clogged dryer works harder. All that lint can even burn out your motor. Or worse, it can start a dangerous vent fire. It's a full 40 inches long and cleans deep into your vent system, grabbing all the packed-in lint that's choking your dryer. After a quick cleaning with the Lint Lizard, your dryer vent is clear, making it work less and run more efficiently. Old-fashioned lint brushes pull out some lint, and the lint gets everywhere. The Lint Lizard cleans deeper and sends the lint right into your vac bag. Vacuuming between machines and under appliances is a snap. Take it outdoors to vac your outside vent. So before you spend a fortune on costly repairs, order your Lint Lizard for just $10.99. Call right now and you can double your order. And that's not all. We'll also include the Dust Lizard. It attaches to any vac and adjusts to any position. The Dust Lizard goes where no other attachment can. Clean delicate electronics, tedious air vents, tiny tile crevices, crumbs from corners, dirt from slider tracks, places you could never vacuum before, even expensive sculptures and intricate chandeliers. Plus, the Lint Lizard comes with a money-back guarantee. If you're not completely satisfied, return them and keep the Dust Lizard. You get it all, 2 Lint Lizards and the Dust Lizard for $10.99. Call now and find out about free shipping.
Call 1-800-373-2150 and get your Lint Lizard. But call now and you can get a special offer on a second Lint Lizard and the Dust Lizard with your order. So call 1-800-373-2150 and find out about free shipping. That's 1-800-373-2150. Call now.
Well, man's best friend becomes one man's hero.
A Texas man is alive after escaping a fire, and he has his 2 dogs to thank for that. Joe Kilgore was asleep when an early morning fire broke out at his home. He says he probably wouldn't have made it out if not for his pets. The pair of dogs alerted Kilgore to the fire and saved his life.
Sassy May is the one on the right and Sissy Ann on the left, and they actually woke me up barking. With smoke coming under the door, I'd be dead today. I'd be dead right now.
Sassy and Sissy. Well, at one point, the fire became so intense that emergency crews and firefighters had to pull out of the building. Kilgore's home was destroyed, but thankfully, he still has his life. He says if anyone doesn't have a dog after hearing his story, they should reconsider. And I guess Sissy and Sassy are doing well as far as we know.
I saw a story the other day about it. Well, we're running out of time. I'll have to tell you at another time. But anyway, thanks for joining us tonight.
Join us tomorrow. We'll find out. Bye-bye.